Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. We got our guest co-host Looney joining us. He's from the It's Up There podcast. And let's get in some front page news. Good morning, Tesin.
Good morning, DJ NV, Looney. Thank you for being here with us, and Charlamagne the God.
Peace, Ted.
Let's jump right into it. Last night, the Denver Nuggets defeated the Miami Heat 94-89.
Yeah, no.
Did you guys watch the game?
I went to sleep beginning of the third quarter. I wanted to stay up to watch Denver win their first chip, but I was knocked out, man.
Yeah, what about you, Looney?
Me, I can't stay up for games no more. I'm getting old, man.
Yeah, you pass right out?
Yeah, I go down. If it ain't somebody that I'm really in tune with, I go right down. So.
Yeah, and let's be real. The Nuggets are great. We got some audio from Lugo.
From Joker, yeah.
Okay.
Nicola, they didn't go away. You had to take it. What was the difference down the stretch?
We knew it. They are a great team. They are a great team, intelligent team, amazing team that I respect a lot. It was amazing effort by the team. You know, it was an ugly game. We couldn't make shots, but at the end we figured out how to defend, and they scored 80-something or 90 points. So that's why we won the game.
And now you are an NBA champion, Nicola. How does that feel?
It's good. It's good. If the job is done, we can go home now.
The Nuggets are great, man. They've been building towards that for a long time, and they're going to be around for years to come because they got a young core. But you can only play who's in front of you. But this is by far one of the easiest roads to a championship ever.
Yeah, and I love the fact that he was picked number 44.
Number 41.
Number 41. He was the 41st pick, which, he showed that he had to work for it. Even at the All-Star game, when they go back and forth and they pick plays, he was the last person LeBron picked. So the fact that he's been, grinding it out and working hard is definitely dope. Congratulations to him.
They only lost 4 games in the postseason. And the reason I say this is the easiest road to a championship ever, they beat a number 8 team, a number 4 team, a number 7 team, and a number 8 seed in the finals.
Wow.
Right.
And it showed.
Right, yeah.
They had no competition.
All right. Well, Tesla, let's talk about Donald Trump. Now, he's going to be in the Miami court today, and they said he wasn't handcuffed yesterday either, right? They don't handcuff former presidents?
I guess they don't, but he is checking in with the feds today. Former President Donald Trump is expected to appear in a Miami courthouse following last week's unsealing of a federal indictment accusing him of mishandling classified documents. Now, Trump is facing 37 federal charges. Federal prosecutors say Trump illegally stored dozens of highly sensitive documents everywhere from bathrooms to ballrooms at his Florida resort, refusing to return them to the FBI and National Archives. His hearing is scheduled today at 3 p.m. Eastern, but before he can appear in court, he will surrender for pretrial services, including booking and processing. He is expected to enter a plea of not guilty.
Wow. How many Trump protesters expected to show up today? Okay.
Yeah, similar to Manhattan court appearance, but very different than Manhattan because obviously Florida is a Trump state. So it's going to be a little bit, the energy is definitely going to be different. He's asking supporters to mobilize to protest.
Wow.
And the chief of police said that they are prepared to handle a crowd anywhere from 5,000 to 50,000. Trump said, quote, "We need strength at this point. Everyone is afraid to do anything. They're afraid to talk. They have to go out and protest peacefully." But Kari Lake, the former Arizona Republican nominee for governor, has a different message. Let's take a listen.
I have a message tonight for Merrick Garland and Jack Smith and Joe Biden. And the guys back there in the fake news media, you should listen up as well. This one's for you. If you want to get to President Trump, you're going to have to go through me, and you're going to have to go through 75 million Americans just like me. And I'm going to tell you, most of us are card-carrying members of the NRA.
Jesus.
That's not a threat, that's a public service announcement.
That's a promise. That ain't a threat. That's a promise.
I tell you, man, today is a great test on whether or not MAGA really is still about that life, because I don't feel like they got that fight in them anymore. We don't want any of that, of course, but I'm starting to feel like what we saw on January 6th might have been an exception and not a rule. I didn't expect them to wild out in New York.
They wasn't going to do that in New York.
But if they don't wild out in Florida, MAGA may not be as tough as we
see, New York, you can't carry a firearm. It's against the law to carry a firearm. You automatically get 3 years. In Florida, you can legally carry a firearm, and they're saying, I need you to come with strength.
Yeah, but I think they saw a lot of those protesters get locked up on January 6th, and they like, you know what?
So you don't think it's no crash outs?
I don't think it's going to be no crash outs today, man. I don't.
You don't think so?
Well, they're definitely going to be there. They may
In
not crash
Florida?
out, but they definitely are going to be there. They have already said, they've already had some back and forth with some anti-Trump supported protesters on yesterday. But I don't know if they're going to run up on the courthouse. But Miami's preparing very differently, which is my concern, than New York. They haven't really put any barricades in front of the courthouse to prevent it being stormed. They've just pretty much put like yellow tape. They have not.
Oh, they need to have the same barricade they put out when us black people go down there for South Beach in front of that courthouse.
I think the talk is going to be tougher than the actions because listen, he got charges brought up against him in New York.
Right.
The indictment has happened. We haven't seen nobody wilding out.
That's a good
These
point.
past few weeks and days, we ain't seen nobody really cutting up.
But New York law is different.
I'm just talking about around the country. Period.
That's true.
We ain't seen
too.
nobody. What's the
I don't know.
summary?
We're going to see those senior citizens might roll up on it today. We're going to see.
What's the summary of the charges, Ted?
So we can't unpack them all, but I did want to give people a summary just quickly. 37 federal charges. Here's a quick recap of it. Willful retention of national defense information, conspiracy to obstruct justice, withholding a document or a record, corruptly concealing a document or a record, concealing a document in a federal investigation, scheme to conceal, and false statements and representation. And each one of those charges carries a maximum fine of $250,000 and a maximum prison sentence from 5 to 20 years. So that's time.
That's
right.
time.
Yeah.
I mean, that the nuclear code thing, him tucking those, that's 10 years by itself, I think I read.
Yeah.
What I'm really concerned giving time, though. I can't see them giving that president time.
With the feds, though?
I don't see it.
I just think it's globally embarrassing. I don't think, I'm not sure if they'll do that.
Well, I'm concerned. I was watching something last night, and one of the security analysts that's been kind of following this case said that it's not just the groups like the Proud Boys, but they have found, a lot of intel coming from police departments and, former military. And they said it's a lot of groups out there that are in positions of power that are far more dangerous and prepared than a lot of the protesters that you'll see. So we'll see how it plays out. Hopefully everybody, be safe today and, I guess exercise their right to protest.
Yeah, I'm not saying they won't wild out today, and of course we don't want them to, but I don't think Trump folks riding with him like he thinks they are, because I feel like if they were, they'd have been riding already.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
They said those senior citizens from the block. Different energy in Florida, so.
And that is front page news. You remember they did that whole, that whole like damn near whatever they call a caravan or parade of cars. Remember when the Trump and they were all driving through Long Island and driving through Queens, and they came through the city and there was hundreds of cars. And then in Florida, remember there was hundreds of boats that they had all their boats, protesting.
That's toned down though.
Word, exactly.
You're not impressed, Charlamagne?
No, I ain't. That wasn't storming the Capitol. Yeah. You know what I mean? That was a nice little car show. That's what that was.
Shout out to DJ Envy's car show.
Nah, they can't come to mind. But all right, get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, phone lines are wide open again. 800-585-1051. If you need to get anything off your chest, phone lines are wide open. Tez, we'll see you in a couple of minutes. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. Now we got our guest co-host Looney here. Of course, he's the host of It's Up There podcast. And we got Teslin Figaro back. Tez, good morning.
Good morning, DJ Envy and Looney and Charlamagne the God.
Hello. Peace, Ted.
We got to congratulate the Denver Nuggets. They beat the Miami Heat last night, 94-89. So congratulations to Joker and the whole Denver Nuggets.
This got to be one of the lowest rated finals too, right?
Facts.
I'm sure.
Gotta be.
I'm sure.
It wasn't exciting.
No.
In no way, shape, or form. But I mean, that's what happens when you got a team like Denver going up against number 8, number 4, number 7, and number 8 seeds. You know what I'm saying? They swept the Lakers. They was a number 7 seed. Lost one game to the Heat. They were a number 8 seed. Only lost 4 games the whole postseason. We knew what the outcome was going to be, man.
Well, we were hoping that it'd be a little closer, right? Weren't we?
I guess, maybe.
Hope ain't
Jimmy
a strategy.
Butler's been playing.
We say, Lou?
Hope is not a strategy.
Hope is not a
Nah, it's
strategy.
not a strategy. All right, well, let's get into some front page news. Now, let's talk about CNN's town hall with Chris Christie.
Yeah, so I wanted to give you a quick update on a few takeaways from the CNN town hall with former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. He laid into Donald Trump in the town hall, calling the former president angry and vengeful and accusing him of a vanity run amok. Here is what he had to say about what he thinks Trump will do if he is reelected for a second term. Let's take a listen.
Oh, because he's so angry now. He's angry and he's vengeful, and he said I will be your retribution. Well, I don't want him to be my retribution. I don't need him to do that. And I don't think anybody in America needs it either. He wants to be retribution for himself. I am convinced that if he goes back to the White House, that the next 4 years will all be about him just settling scores, Anderson.
That's a
everybody
fact.
who he thinks wasn't perfectly nice to him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a fact. All his political opponents getting locked up. Yeah, he gonna put cases on all of them, from Clinton to Biden to Obama. You ain't even gotta worry about that. Pelican Bay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm putting cases on all you bitches, guaranteed.
100%.
What did he say was the reason he turned away from Trump, Ted?
Well, the comment caucus is what I like to call them on YouTube. They're saying he's just bitter and upset, that Trump, which that it's probably some truth to that. But his reason that he gave, that he said why he turned away from Trump was the moment that Trump basically told the American people, when he denied the election. He called Trump a loser and a child. He compared the former president's refusal to accept his defeat for re-election like a blame deflecting tantrum from a child who just failed a test at school. Chrissy said, I beg of you to think about this. Don't allow the showmanship to obscure the facts. The facts are he lost to Joe Biden.
Here's what I don't like about Republicans. They all talk tough now. If Donald Trump becomes the GOP nominee, will they still talk tough, or will they fall in line like they usually do?
Yeah, they'll fall in place.
You know what I mean? That's when you know you really got something, is if he becomes the GOP nominee and they all don't support him.
No, they got to fall in place. But that's what they always do. They make sure they fall in place to support whoever's running.
Yeah.
No matter what.
I mean, that's across the board for politicians, though. I would say, except Joe Manchin. He's the only one that don't fall.
The only one.
Right. Now let's talk about this COVID-19 relief aid. And they're saying like billions was stolen or wasted?
Yeah, they're calling it the Great Grift. An Associated Press analysis, again, that they're calling the Great Grift, found that fraudsters potentially stole more than $280 billion in COVID-19 relief funding. Another $123 billion was wasted or misspent. Combined, the loss represents 10% of the $4.2 trillion the U.S. government has so far distributed in the COVID relief aid. Now, the U.S. government has charged more than 2,230 defendants with pandemic-related fraud crimes and is conducting thousands of investigations. So it looks like some more folks might be going to jail.
Did they say anything about PPP loan fraud?
Yeah, the PPP loan that
goes in.
You have always heard about, and a lot of folks got it. Well, they said that the SBA Inspector General's office has estimated fraud in the disaster loan program, $86 billion for the disaster loan, and the PPP program, there was about $20 billion in fraud. And the watchdog group that is laying out all of this, they're expected in the coming weeks to revise those figures, and they expect it to be much higher. So folks can find that report on the Associated Press. It has a lot of information that I think is really interesting. It talks about how much was stolen, what agencies were hit the hardest, how that money was allocated, what could have been done better, and more importantly, who is to blame. So it's a pretty good report.
I ain't seen them going at nobody anymore. I just seen what's homie from what's his name? Blue? What's his name? Big Blue. He was the only one I ever seen that got arrested, right?
Yeah. I mean, so probably somebody with a name, but I'm sure they.
Nah, they going.
Yeah, I'm sure regular everyday people.
Yeah, what's happening is they have a different way of. They still investigating it, but I've saw them grab people. I've saw people get into big trouble about it. Take homes, take cars.
Really?
Right. Yeah. People has been going crazy.
What's crazy to me is y'all made all of that money and y'all didn't do nothing with it. Y'all don't even know how to money launder right.
Right.
Back in the day, drug dealers knew how to properly money launder when they got some illegal money. Y'all get this illegal money and don't even know what to do with it.
Well, they go get jewelry, cars.
That's what I'm saying.
Pop some bottles.
Dumbness.
Yeah.
All of the things they tell drug dealers not to do back in the day.
PJ.
Yes.
All the things that make you hot when you was a drug dealer back in the day, they doing now.
With stolen money.
Going on Instagram, so taking photos.
Right. The first thing we do, or most people do, is they want to compete with people who's been in business a long time. That's they instantly try to look like you look, like we look. We've been doing business a long time, and so they'll instantly get the private jet, the cars. Bro, this is stolen money.
That's right.
Have some reserve.
All right. Well, that is front page news. Thank you, Tesla.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
And make sure you subscribe to the Tesla and Figaro Straight Shot No Chaser podcast on the Black Effect iHeartRadio podcast network.
100%.
All right. Now, when we come back, Ryan Coogler and Peter Nix will be joining us. They have a new documentary called Anthem, which comes out June 28th on Hulu. And we're going to kick it with them when we come back, so don't move. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up early in the morning. The Breakfast Club.